I can prompt you if you want.
Okay.
One thing you said that really riveted me was that when you were talking about being up there in the shotgun and feeling like something in the cemetery loved you,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking how odd it was that Kim's in that cemetery.
Yes.
And that you were kind of imagining the dead calling you.
Yes. Yeah. I had to come back to the valley from North Carolina. Came to the valley, visited the grave, connected my imaginings with what was actually there. I had to see what was actually there. I was just going on hearsay. I felt called to return to this valley as soon as possible. After about 2 weeks, Christmas time, I went to the city because I'd been asked to clean up his apartment, and we both lived there. I knew what was there. Nasser was Kim's best friend. They had been lovers very briefly. They were really, really good friends. They had met in the rooms in AA and had co-conspired basically to hoist me out of Kim's life because I was bad news. That's why I was in North Carolina. And she just appeared as sort of a protecting angel at the time, and with her crack pipe in hand. She was a very plain looking woman, except that her eyes were a brilliant jade green color, very strong features. She could blend very easily, into the crowd sort of thing. You had to focus on her in order to see how absolutely gorgeous she was, and how strongly her heart, the generosity of her heart shone from her body. And she wasn't that bad off yet. She was still maintaining her job, working, and doing crack, as sort of a fun thing. She and her partner did that. She processed photographs in an automated photo lab. She was living with her partner, Chris. We got to be very, very close because we had both loved Kim very much. On Broadway near Marcy Avenue under the L in South Williamsburg, which was just, at the time, very, very, it was a very hot and heavy neighborhood, A lot of crack houses, a lot of crack, a lot of dope, everywhere. And there was a needle exchange program running there. So basically, she brought me into the crackhead, and she asked me to introduce her to heroin, and that's what I did for her. So, and I didn't want to leave the city because I already had developed, since returning, I'd already developed a real oil burner habit where I was basically taking a shot of dope every 45 minutes to an hour. Didn't want to leave the city, didn't want to go back down south, so I moved in with them. I was there, I'll say, a month and a half, and things generally just spiraled out of control in the usual manner. And we were all basically just smoking crack and shooting dope all day long. Laura was not working anymore, Chris was not working anymore. It was lovely. Finally, I'd had enough. And it was just getting boring and ugly, and I was tired of being forced to rescue her from Chris's outrageous violence. I would sort of take her out of there once in a while, and we'd stay at a little, what passed for a flea bag hotel in Brooklyn. It was very tiring. What really cinched it was that Chris was starting to direct his violence against me. All right, goodbye. So I went back down to an apartment in North Carolina that I'd left empty. I got a call from Chris in the spring of that year. I'd left in early winter. Laura was missing. He was absolutely flipping out, I mean, that wasn't too far for him to go normally, but he was really, really, really upset. She'd gone out to cop and hadn't come back. And basically she never returned home at all. I don't know what happened. He never called my number back. So about a year later, I was meeting with some of Laura's old friends at a bar in Tribeca. One of them let me know that her body had been found in a storage room under the Williamsburg Bridge. And a gentleman who had been murdering women in the neighborhood over the course of that year and a half, she was one of the first, had been arrested and he was jailed. Two women I knew when I was staying there had been killed. They were both excellent women. And as far as I know, the guy is still in jail. That was 99. That's the story.